Hey, so last episode I talked about having a sore throat on my days. I need to shave my beard a bit. Last episode I talked about having a sore throat and how that was gonna be like the prelude to having like a runny nose and all that. That was in fact true. Um, but I am feeling a bit better, thank the Lord. A lot of prayer. Doctor came, gave some great medicine. So I just been on that medicine and it's been really, really nice. Not really nice in the sense of like, oh, this medicine is really nice to have. But when it's just like, okay, I'm seeing like the effects pretty soon after taking it. So it's like, okay, you can see that improvement. Like I do feel like I don't feel amazing, but I feel much better compared to like, yeah, like I couldn't sleep yesterday because my brain felt so compacted into itself. And it was like, oh, just a terrible feeling. And I couldn't even like breathe or swallow because like when I breathe, it was like the sore throat was at like the, let me see if I can find the words. But yeah, the sore throat was like in the back of my mouth, and it was just so bad. It was really, really bad. Um, but we are here today. So that's good. Thank the Lord. And it's just nice. I'm getting a bit better. Minute by minute, hour by hour. Uh, I think uvula, tonsils, whatever it is, right? It was like that's where the sore throat bacteria infection was, and it was just terrible. This is actually a really cool depiction of light being taken in Nigeria. Light was just taken. There's a backup generator, I believe, so it's gonna be fine. I also have. Give me one second. I love being prepared for stuff like this. I also have this. So we are still balling, uh, whatever that means. But yeah, I am feeling happy. I do feel disappointed myself in the sense that I've let this disease or whatever it is, kind of like take over my days, 2 days, to be exact. And it's like I just wasted so much time. I'm happy with the second day being today. I've at least been able to take more control back of my day. So I've been able to get some, be it reflection, be it some like I think emails, I might be able to get some of that done. I think that's one of the being sick sucks. Like there's no debating that. But I think one of the advantages of being sick is that there's so much reflection, introspection to be had because you really can't do much else. And it's really nice to see like what matters most to you and like how you can change your life. Because like you have to directly stare at the man in the mirror, as Michael Jackson once said. I really like doing quotes. It's really cool. My favorite quote to do is J. Cole's saying, don't save if you don't want to be saved. I think I don't know when I used the quote, but whenever like I can see that quote in some sense, I was always just like hyphen J. Cole. Really cool stuff. But yeah, feeling better. Just like last episode, I'm gonna touch about ChatGPT. I'm not gonna make this episode the dedicated ChatGPT 4.0 image generation episode. But I have heard some complaints online that um so ChatGPT they kind of rolled out this new image generation thing and it's been good. It's been really, really good. But one of the stuff that's really cool and interesting about it was that a lot of the copyright restrictions just weren't there. So for example, if you want to create like SpongeBob, for instance, you'll be able to if you want to like do a Ghibli style, if you want to convert your image to a Ghibli style thing, you'll be able to do that. So and that's not the usual case because that's a lot of copyrighted material. And then what people are complaining about now is that those restrictions are now back in place. So if I want to do something like SpongeBob related, I can do that. There's actually some interesting stuff there. And I don't know how it is for Ghibli, but the theories that I'm seeing online on the internet is that Gemini and some other AI company released a couple stuff this week, and ChatGPT didn't want the attention to be on them, right? They didn't want the attention to be on them. So what they did is that they removed some of the copyright restrictions, which I just realized that's actually such a cool, not cool, but that's like such an ingenious thing to do. I'm really impressive on their part. It's a good thing to do. I personally don't think so. It's kind of a bait and switch, you know. But it's really interesting. Now with I don't know how it necessarily works. I don't know the back end of it, but what I found interesting, I was trying to do SpongeBob today, and it loaded the image. Like I saw the image like dead to rights, and then it just disappeared and said, "Hey, I can't do that kind of copyright stuff." So it was really interesting. I wonder if they'll leave that as like a bug or a loophole they can take advantage of because maybe like they could say, "Yeah, well, technically we have copyright restrictions, but like you're also able to access it in like a split second," which I don't know. I also think the whole copyright thing is really interesting. Part of me kind of wants it just not to be in place, just because I can use a lot of the like if I want to create something in Ghibli style, um, I would love to do that. But I also know like the ethical nature of the dilemma itself. So, for example, like Miyazaki hates AI, and it's just like it kind of discredits a lot of art in that sense. I think there's a balance to be had. Um, for instance, like if you create something that Disney art style, low key, I don't think it affects Disney as a company as much as people want to believe. I think that's something we also have to. I don't know. I think I've been trying to think about like the way I see it. The art industry, there's always like these talks about like just the art industry, right? Like whether it be like digital animation or AI or whatever. But I feel like the art industry has like maybe some people don't realize it, but I think the art industry has already been shot, right? It's like worried about someone pointing a gun to your head when they've already shot you. And I think that's what I find so interesting like the art industry as a whole, because like it's already so let me see if this is the right word to use. But I think it's already so corporate, right? So it's not even an individual thing. So a lot of these stuff, like I can see commission artists being like affected, and commission artists are people who just do like they make a piece and that's like you get the money for that. So like if I want someone to draw me and there's some artist that I could pay them $20, which is crazy. But it's also fair, like in terms of pay and then they'll do that. So that's like what I consider commissions. And the reason I say it's crazy because I think in my head, I'm not gonna like I don't need it that badly. I think that's maybe like a flaw of art, not art itself, but like art, how we see the value of art. Like we don't see it as something that's inherently valuable. Like if I was stuck on like a stranded island, I would think to bring like really nice paintings with me, even though that could be really awesome. Um, so I think it's really, really interesting. Yeah, back to what I was saying. So I think it's interesting in itself how a lot of people I think don't see art as something that valuable. Because I remember I was really interested in like the whole AI art thing or the whole intersection or debate around that. Then I think after a while, like I took some time to take a step back. I realized like it doesn't matter to most people. For example, like let's say you're like a business owner who's like working on some graphics or whatever, and you need a graphics for your company. You're not really gonna care if your design has the soul behind it sometimes. Like if you just need like an image, like who cares where you get the image from? I think that's the way a lot of people think. Um and it's not I don't think it's neither good or bad. I think what has to happen, I don't even think AI is like the biggest threat to the art. Not even that. I don't think AI is the biggest issue to the art industry. I think it's just fundamentally the art industry is already broken. Let me like see like the average salary of an animator real quick. I don't know. Something I would love to see is I would love to see art be less centralized in the sense that like we see because I feel like there's like three maybe big studios that really dictate art in the sense of like what we see on cinema and shows. And it makes sense because to make cinemas and shows, um, it costs a lot of money, right? And to be able to put throw that money at um to be able to throw that money at like these productions, you have to be a big company. Because if you're a small company expecting each show to be profitable towards you, you're gonna, I think you're gonna go into bankruptcy pretty soon. Um, so I guess that's why it's why it's so corporate in the sense like you have to have like these big entities running it. But I do think if you could see a decrease in the cost of production, then maybe you could see more. You could see stuff become more accessible. Like that's what was going on with YouTube for a long time now, where you had like a lot of YouTubers were getting like more views, right, than like all these shows that have like a bigger production budget. But this YouTuber with like or something, maybe it's a phone and a camera and then some lights or a microphone would literally have like more views monthly or per video slash per episode. So I think it's really interesting that I think it's really interesting in that if that becomes the case, then if that becomes the case, then we can art can become more dear. So I think it's interesting in the sense that I don't know. I feel like the cheaper production is, the more accessible art is, and I think that's my hope with at least AI in some sense. Because I don't think AI is going to do the brunt work for a really good show. Like if I was watching a really good show, I just don't see AI at this stage or maybe in the next 5 years. Because I think it really comes to the fundamentals of it, being able to do a lot of the brunt work of a really good um show that I like. Like let's say a show like Adolescence. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. let's take a show like Adolescence or Beef, right? Like you couldn't just say, "Hey, I generate this show for me," right? And you get like that quality of a show. And you could maybe make AI generate something that's pretty garbage and just like standard stuff, but that's not what I watch, right? And I think that's where it goes back to the point of the issue of the art industry right now. It's not even um AI or this or that. It's more, it's fundamental like how it's structured from this bottom up. And I think that's why I think I really need to structure my thoughts on this much more. I guess my excuse for today is that I'm sick, but that's why I think like it could be such a good opportunity to not say like, oh, make everyone can do art, because everyone can do art. Like right now, you don't need like AI to do art. That's never been a thing. But I do think if it can help, like let's say you need to, let's say you want to make your videos more accessible to everyone around the world. So something I know people like Mr. Beast do, I think they use AI to kind of just make the Spanish dub of their videos sound more like Mr. Beast himself. So if you're a Spanish only speaker or whatever, and you want to watch Mr. Beast in Spanish, it's not going to feel like you're watching like another. It's not going to feel like you're watching like Telemundo, and it's like you can clearly tell there's a difference between like the voice actor and the person speaking. Um, so I think that's really like just stuff like that can just make it better in the sense, and that's why I see AI being of primary use. Does that mean that companies are not going to try and go the route of AI doing the whole thing? I don't think that's the case. I think AI, companies are definitely going to do that because companies just do stuff in general like that. Um, call it research and development, call it being lazy, whatever you want to call it. Companies are probably going to do that. But in the long run, I think it's going to be not profitable. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it being profitable. Like even like to get the AI to I think I remember I did a LinkedIn post about this. Like the amount of control you would want the AI, like you would want with AI, I don't think it's just feasible yet. And it's just so I don't know. But ChatGPT 4 does have a lot of I think you can make a lot of control with like if I want something specific to be that way, it could be. So who knows? But I do think it's interesting. Besides that though, I have nothing else to say, so have a great day.